Hi Floss Tip, Crafty Carrie here. This will be my November update. Not that you know, but this is my third time recording this. First time I forgot some things, and the second time it was really long because my kids interrupted me a lot. So, third time's a charm, right? So, hopefully you've watched the video just before this, which is my vote for my magazine project for next year. I have it kind of in this little notebook here, and I've been making tally marks for everybody who's voted so far. So I'm really excited to see what people have been choosing already. So that is still up until December 31st, so I can start kitting things up at the beginning of the year. But yeah, go check that out and help me figure out what I'm going to be stitching next year. Again, I use my handy dandy monthly cross stitch tracker from Stitch Mania. So not a whole lot of projects to work on like I did last month, which was outrageous. But excuse me. Still got my goals accomplished that I had set for almost everything, so I was really, really happy. So, first of all, I wanted to finish story time, because I want to make it a gift for my girls. And so, I only had two more to stitch, two more frames, which is Little Women and, I say Scrooge, but it's Christmas Carol. So let me show you those. And they turned out really, really well. I just realized how bright that looks. I changed a couple things here. The snowflakes are French knots. And I did laces instead of the cross stitch up there. And this feather, which looked really odd the way it was charted. I think it's just because it's so pixelated anyways in here that something didn't look right to me. So instead of cross stitching the center of the feather, I back stitched that. And then I tweeted gray and the natural color for a couple rows, and then went to black. So it had a little bit more of a gradual change into the feather, which to me seemed a little bit more natural, but I don't know. And then the Christmas Carol, all the snowflakes are French knots again, but there was a couple big ones and I liked them, but instead I back stitched kind of a snowflake shape and then put a French knot in the middle. So let me show you the whole thing, which is not a surprise to many of you, because, you know, this whole thing's like a year old. So, I'm just so happy that it's done. Now, my girls have seen most of them, but they didn't see me complete the last two. So I kind of want to be a little bit of a surprise. I just have to find a frame for it now, because I want it to be a little fancy, you know, kind of a thicker width around the frame, and maybe white or silver, something fun and girly. But yeah, I gotta do that because now today is officially September 2nd. I tried to record this video like two days ago, and I have a cough, so I keep drinking water, so I apologize. So after story time, I worked on a couple other projects, which I need to get working on again, for my son, because since I'm finishing the story time sample for the girls, my older son, I'm doing Batman. I can't show you any finished one because it's just a pattern, but it's the old Batman logo where he's got his arms spread out, and so you can see like the whole bat wing shape. And so like his face is kind of like right here. So I'm stitching the letters first because they were a little bit more easier to chart. Excuse me. But I think once I get that, I will just need to simply do an outline of the black, and I can just fill it. Because it just needs to be a little bit of a flesh color for this part of his face that sticks out. But I really like this. And I hand dyed that, by the way, if you didn't know. And I really like the way that turned out. So. And that's 16 count Aida. And that will just need a very simple, I would say sleek black frame. And I'm sure I can find that somewhere. But I gotta get it done. And then I worked on another project for a couple days. Well, that was kind of more in the morning when my son's at school, and this one was in the evening. Gave me something to do when he was home so that he could see me work on and not spoil anything. Sorry. And I've shown this before. It's the Clouds Factory Power Rangers. The goal was to have it done for my brother-in-law for Christmas, which I think we'll do a post-Christmas box. He was clear in Alaska, so things aren't cheap to send up there. And especially since it will probably have some kind of glass. Yeah, I'm going to try to be real careful with that. This is what it looks like so far. I finally got one Power Ranger done. It's the green one. And I stitched all the solid DMC. Hold on just a second. The lighting's so weird. I don't know if it's any better, but it's three threads for the DMC solid, and then I just did 2 of the metallic. And can you see? Oh, sorry. Can you see his belt? How cute! So I did gold in the middle, silver on the outside, and then I did a little, like, kind of a diamond shape in the red. So it looks a little bit more like their belt, or where the medallion sits. And then I added a little bit to the outside of his visor. I kind of backstitched that in, which was not charted. But I like this. Sorry it's not going to get done like when I wanted it to, but he'll join nonetheless whenever he gets it. And the other reason why it's waiting is that he surprised us by showing up. Yeah, we live in Indiana. He lives in Alaska. We had no idea he was coming to town. He just showed up, and all of a sudden we were like, what? So I was kind of disappointed there. I'm like, man, I wish I worked on that more, because then I could have had it done while he was here on his trip and sent it home with him. But that didn't happen. Anyways, now moving on to Pinocchio. Guys, this is like, I think, the 3rd month that I've got a goal completed when I wanted it, and I'm happy with it. I have finished another block page, whatever you want to call it, because I've split it up. Instead of 4 quarters, I have 12, and it was just much more manageable, and it fits on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So, sorry. So there's half, so let me show you. Oops, and sorry, it's all curly. Look at that. And guys, I mean, it looks really nice in person, don't get me wrong. But I love how this shows up on video. It makes me fall in love with it. And look at the sparkle. You can really see that right around here in the windows. How nice. And this doesn't have any back stitching in it yet. I do all that last. But the section that I completed was this section right here. And good thing this time is that it was a lot of gray that was here. I mean, mostly one color of gray. And then the blue rooftops. And this gray even filled into some of the stone in these houses. So I used about 2 or 3 main colors, and then I filled in, and you see all the reflection of the stone here from the lights. The one part that it was a little bit more difficult, because they were all fractional stitches, is, and I forget their names, but like the little fox and the other character that get Pinocchio into all their his trouble. So, and so they're like way in the distance, way back in the picture. But I really liked how it turned. I mean, how this part turned out. And, I have a few pork threads ready for the next section, which I think I will naturally go here because I have it here. So again, oops, that's where I finished, and I will probably just start this section next and probably work my way up and then down. Now it's December, so even though I have a goal of getting that done this month, sorry, if I don't, I won't cry. It's Christmas, and my son's first birthday is coming up. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of other things to do. I mean, I got that section done this month with my birthday, my husband's birthday, and Thanksgiving all going on in the same month. Now, did we really do anything fancy? No, but I didn't do stitching on some of those days. So, to have that done, in spite of having a whole bunch of other things going on, made me really happy. So, I'm on par to get it done in time for the state fair next year. But I only worked on that about 14 days. So that was, again, kind of right where I wanted to complete it. You know, if I have 14 days to stitch on it, I should be able to get a section done, minus back stitching. And speaking of back stitching, I was just thinking, I know some of you stitch or back stitch while you are stitching, or as you go. That's the words I want to use. I don't. It's a different frame of mind for me. Like, also I say is that I see it when I look at the chart, and I just look at the back. I mean, like the cross stitch, and I will focus on nothing but the cross stitch. Like I don't even see the back stitch, and then when it's time to do the back stitch, it's like I can stop focusing on the cross stitch and then just see the back stitch. Especially since a lot of the back stitch goes it's not just on one page. Most of it will connect to others, so I hate to stop a thread, and yeah, but that's just the way I am. So that was that, and then I did have one new start because of the Just Cross Stitches Fun group, the Stitch What's like Harry Potter group, which I won't say I've neglected, but I haven't really participated like I should lately. Excuse me. Has an ornament salve, and since it's the 2nd, I think it's supposed to be done by tomorrow. And I neglected that. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I found this in my stash, a Lizzie Kate. Wait till the December 25th. When I liked it when I found it. I mean, I liked it anyways, but that the colors are pretty simple, the design is simple, and it does have a little bit of bead and a button. So, and it came with those in the chart. So this is what I have so far, which is not a whole lot, but it should go pretty fast, which I can just stop and stitch on it. So you can kind of see, oops, I have the tree and this part down here, and then I'll be able to stitch the other red line. Now I did change a couple of the threads, and I'm going to show you only the ones I changed, other than what was charted. For the Christmas tree, instead of using Grasshopper from Weeks or the DMC, I am using just some that I had. It's the Gentle Art Sampler Threads in Dive. And it's actually really close to the pictured color that's on here, so I'm really happy with that. And you need like 5 stitches for the brown that's underneath the tree. So I didn't get what was required, which is molasses. I'm just using Sampler Threads Wood Trail, which I've had for something else. And then I am using the Weeks Dye Grits because I had that from Storytime, so why not? And then everything else is DMC except for the pink. I had another pink. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. I didn't like the way 3712 looked. It might be closer to peach, so And I think it's the color I'm wearing that's throwing everything off. So there's the red, but then I have this peachy pink or this pinky pink. So I haven't decided which color I'm going to use until I stitch just about everything else. But like I said, that should go pretty well. Pretty fast. Now, I did get a tiny bit of haul. I didn't think I would be able to buy anything for my birthday because of our financial situation, so I wasn't worried about it. But my husband was like, I didn't get you anything, and because he's working all the time. And I said, it's fine, I don't care. I said, well, hey, if you want me to, you know, I can go buy some threads. And he said, okay. And I was like, I said, I really like Mo's sale, and I could go buy some there. And he's like, how much? And I was like, well, however much you want to tell me. And so he gave me an amount, and I was like, okay. And I got to go shopping. And I love Mo's sale. And if you haven't heard of her, you have a rock to climb out from, because they're adorable and they're very, very reasonably priced. Like, to have some of these gorgeous colors and be paying the price that you do, it's like, I find it really, really hard to buy a week's dye or anything else because you're paying $3 or more skein, and I'm like, and with Mo's you're paying just a tiny bit over $1. Like, why? So I have plans for some of these, and see, I have this whole thing now. So here's my superheroes, my princess, which is not very much, my randoms, which just a bunch of different ones that don't have a theme, and my Doctor Who's. So I moved them into this box recently because they're kind of outgrowing the other storage, and I haven't figured out, and I don't want to put them in individual baggies because I kind of like having them in their theme groups, because my goal is to use some of them within their theme. So like with Box of Delights, I was really thinking that I could pick a collection there and stitch with just those. So we will see. So let me show you what I did get. And I realized I need something. How about a piece of felt? So I have this piece of felt here. And we have Cinderella. So nice blue into a softer blue. Jasmine. And Pocahontas. And I like it because I didn't really have a whole lot of brown brown variegated, and I thought that'd be nice. And then I bought candy corn. Here we go. There we go. They're a great barrier. And I like the tones of those blues. Can I say I love the shade of purple, but I think I have a thing for blue floss. Because from what I bought, I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just this purchase that has blue, and I know there's more blue in here. They're just so pretty. And I think it's just the way blues dye. This is Ripper Song, so this is my new Doctor Who that I didn't have. I like that a lot. So I have 2 of those, because for almost all the Doctor Who I popped 2. Because you never know. And then Beethoven. Ah, like how dark that blue is. And then this gray. It's like a perfect, like, stormy sky. I like that. So then there was another collection. And I put a lot of it in my cart, and then I just like, you know, I might as well get the whole collection. Right? And it was Wizard of Oz. So, let me quickly show you. I have the Munchkins. Nice red-orange tone orange. Yellow Brick Road, of course. Toto. And I really like how splotchy it is with that up there. The Cowardly Lion. I didn't see a scarecrow unless it ran out, but maybe it's probably hard to dye. Maybe it just, I don't know. Here's Glinda and Dorothy. I want to show these together because I love the way they almost match each other. So like really light here, and then they both have this tone, and that goes into a darker teal. Oh, so pretty. And then I have the Tin Man, so like a black into a gray. And I want to show the wizard next to it, because if you can tell, the wizard is navy. Because at first, they didn't look that much different, which is okay, but I like that it's navy. And then you have the poppy fields. And you can't have Wizard of Oz without the green Emerald City that's called Oz. So, yay! I hope to have something that I can use these for. Otherwise, they are just pretty to look at. So, get these back in their handy bags. I'll get those others put away later. So that was my little bit of haul. I do have one more thing I want to show you. I got at Goodwill. If I can find it here. Sorry. In my Goodwill, I don't generally find very much. Now, a couple hours north, if you go to Fort Wayne, I bet you do. Because I know there's a cross-stitching store up there. And I bought something from Goodwill online before up there. I'm going to have to stop up there the next time I go. But I found this book for like, was it $1? It was with the magazine. So it's either $1 or $1.99, but it's called Folk Tales. This was printed a long time ago. 1985, only a couple years after I was born. By the Vanessa Ann Collection. So, the only reason I picked it up, and there's only one, is because of the saying that is in here. That I may not stitch it as it looks, but I will probably find a way to stitch the text. So I didn't want to forget it, so I bought it. I was like, it's $1. And it's for a pattern. It's in here. I'll show you what it looks like. It's very small. This, so you have all these, looks like house cleaning being done. And then there's this saying on here, and I'll read it to you real quick. It says, I've cleaned and mopped, washed and cooked. After each little one's needs I've looked. Then off to bed the children are sent, and I can stitch to my heart's content. That is so true for me right now. It's almost been a full year since I've been a stay-at-home mom, so it's, had its moments and easier than I thought it would be at times to transition into that. But I have been busier now than I ever have been than when I worked. So yeah, I really like that. I might have to stitch on some. And then I got this little baggie of stuff, which I was like, ooh, Prairie Schooler Santa. And yes, it is a Prairie Schooler Santa from 1989. But then somebody sort of copied 88, 87, 86, and 85. And let me say, and they're laminated, and quite poorly. But, and then there was this in there, which I really don't, it's not my thing. It's an insert from Christmas and Cross Stitch from 1989 of the Chappelle designs. It looks like. But there was this neat little book in there from Gloria and Pat. Little promotional book. But there was something in here that I would enjoy stitching. Is the Merry Christmas. I just like the way, maybe it's the colors. I see now it's something else too. But I really like that font, of, the Merry Christmas there and there, which that's the same design. This is stitched on 14, it's stitched on 18, and since that's so big, I'm assuming that's over 2, so that's a 9 count stitch. But that was all in there. So that was my tiny haul, tiny haul. Because like I said, I can't be spending money, and the whole October thing I did last month was to get it out of my system that I wasn't able to shop. But you know, spending a couple dollars here and there, it's acceptable. Plans for next month. Got to stitch that next section of Pinocchio. This is got to be done in the next couple days. I got to get that Batman done for my son. And I think that's all I'm going to promise to work on. This month is Christmas. I mean, there's going to be, I still have presents to buy, which that's the fun thing. We are, you know, we're shopping for the kids, and that's, oh, I love that. We don't know what Santa's bringing. Oh, we do. Well, he might have told us. Yeah. Oh, there's one more finish. Speaking of Christmas, this. I knew there was something. I was like looking around for it. From the Cross Stitcher issue 286, these little gift tags. And this is my car project. I just stick it in the car, and when I take the kids to and from school, when I'm sitting and waiting on them, because we have a parent drop-off line and a parent pickup line. And so when I drop my preschooler off, we're there probably about 15-20 minutes to spare because I've already taken my others to school. And so I sit and stitch on this. And these are really, really quick. There's 12 designs, and you had 3 sheets, so you stitch like 4 on the sheet at a time. So like this is the sheet, there, and there. So it was really quick. Just one color, so there was no color changing. It was all done in two strands, even the back stitch. So I FFO'd these about a week or so ago. I don't want to show you all of them, but here, ta-da. Let me show you a couple, if I can find a favorite here. This house is adorable. I just really like the way it turned out. And I like the smoke coming out of the chimney. And there's a little tag ready to go. And this is double-sided tape, but this 8 is so rough, that double-sided tape was not going to even stick to that. So just a little bit of Aleene's tacky glue, and it's not going nowhere. So there's that. This little heart is really cute. And then there's this tree. That's about the other one I'll show you. This was so simple. I think I got this done in just about a day. Because it was just backstitched. How cute is that? So simple. So those are ready to go. And so I have a new car project, which is another cross-stitcher kit. I don't know why, but the cross-stitcher kits seem to be easy to take. And I think it's because they're more simple. I love a lot of the projects that, well, cross-stitch fits in there, but I think I'm looking at them and a lot of them are cards now, and there's so many color details. So when you go to stitch it, there's just so many color changes, and I think it's harder for a card. But those are done. Yeah, so I am working on a blog post again. It's really bad. I'm trying to catch up on my history before I get into other things, because I think I just want to get it out of the way, because I don't want to keep going back to things like that. So I'll be posting that soon, but I will put a link to my post, or my blog below. If you have any questions or comments, just put them below. Thank you for watching or subscribing, or both. And hopefully, I can't promise my next update will be the 1st of the month, because the children will be out of school until the 8th, almost the 8th. So it might be a little bit late, because they will drive me crazy and I won't get anything done. I'll get to stitch, but I won't get to talk to anybody. Yeah. that was quicker than I thought. So I hope everybody's having good stitching, and I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. See ya.